Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
Rachel, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Clay. How are you?
I am excited to be here.
Clay, I was walking out of my house and it was right there. A shiny copper penny face up.
Beautiful. So this is going to be probably one of the best Thrive episodes and trainings out there. We have this feeling. We can feel it. Now, today we're going to be talking about how to start a successful online business.
First of all, I want to back up and tell you a little bit about who I am. So when I am like going bonkers, you have a little background of who exactly I am and where the inner drive comes from and the intensity that I operate at. And then, so it's not like, I feel like if I give that baseline, it's not like, I feel like it validates my lunacy a little bit. So I grew up in a small town, Ludington, Michigan. My dad played for the football for the University of Minnesota, and he also was benched. He played for the New York Giants. I don't think he actually was ever on the field, but he played alongside Sam Huff. My mother holds the longest winning streak of any female coach in the history of high school athletics at 111 wins. She won in a row.
Really?
She won 7 state championships. My brothers won the French Open. They were top 10 pro athletes for years in the 90s. They basically were rock and roll tennis in the 90s. In my family, my sister is a Hall of Famer at the University of Kansas, professional tennis player. I was also a professional tennis player, and I sum up my career as I lost to a lot of amazing tennis players. I grew up in a family where being number one was like the only thing that you like were striving for. Second place was not in our vocabulary, and we lived an incredibly intense life always. I mean, spending hours and hours of training and traveling. And I was on the tour. And I was playing. And my mother always was extremely creative on top of her athletic, her athletic victories. And she was a knitter. And my grandmother or my aunt was a basket weaver, and she has baskets in the Smithsonian. And my grandmother would sew, and they're immigrants from Lithuania. I like anything we did in our family. It was with like my parents would like arm wrestle, like if we were having ham and turkey for the night. It was like insane.
This needs to be the basis of like an Adam Sandler movie or something at some point.
Say like my mom with like the like a leotard on in the 70s, and my dad had a headband, and they're like with their 4 kids and like playing football, and it's like amazing actually. So like screaming all the time, go to bed. It's like so with all of that, so I was on tour. I was 24 years old, and I came home on a break, and I went out to a dinner. We'd like to say it's a grill.
Okay.
we won't say it's a bar, but we went out to
a grill.
We went to a grill. They served food.
Yeah.
So I met my husband, and I married him the next day, 17 years ago.
Really?
From that moment, I guess my career was over. I had to defend points. So in tennis, if you those points, if you don't make them up from like if you do well at a tournament the year before, if you have to do equally as well, otherwise your ranking starts dropping. So if your ranking drops, you can't get into tournaments. So now my ranking after like 2 weeks is like dropping now because I'm supposed to be defending points. So my ranking's dropping and I'm like, I guess I'm retiring. So I started crafting with the intensity of a professional athlete. And I would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I would literally craft like all night long. I mean, I would just like...
From 7 o'clock until when would you craft?
Oh, like 1 a.m. I mean,
Really?
until I could like keep my eyes open, and I was making candles, and then I was painting, and I had turned this like garage. My husband, we bought a house pretty immediately, and it was... I mean, that's what I did. And I never had like a regular job. I mean, I traveled around the world playing tennis, these tournaments. And so I just transferred that over into a crafting and like making stuff.
Competitive crafting.
Yeah, competitive craft, exactly.
But by being a competitive crafter and putting a lot of energy and motion, you eventually kind of created these opportunities, it sounds like.
Right. So years I did this, and I would peddle my things. I would literally tote like these things that I was making, and clearly they weren't that good, or they would be like a half broken ostrich egg, and then like I could see it, and I would bring it to all the hippest stores in Atlanta and say, hey guys, on a Saturday, like unannounced, to sell them my goods. And so of course, if you're a store owner, or if that is not a good idea. Always call for an appointment. So finally, a good friend of mine, and she's still a good friend of mine, said to me, Rachel, you're really good at what you do. But you're really good and you're going to be great. But stop doing this. It's just not good enough yet.
Stop bringing in half-broken ostrich eggs to stores unannounced.
Exactly.
Okay.
So she said, keep doing what you're doing and they will find you. And really, that's exactly what happened. I never applied for a job. I still haven't. I don't think I've ever applied for a job.
If you'd like to, we're looking for somebody who can do some extra coding on the website. If you'd like to apply, we wouldn't hire you, obviously, and you're not available, but if you want to apply, just so we can get that off your resume.
Oh, gotcha.
If you wanted to. I want to ask you this, though. So you're saying, for anybody who's watching this, if you're good, people will find you.
Right. Well, now with analytics tools and with the internet, I mean, right now to be an entrepreneur, it's so easy. I live in Dallas, Georgia, in the middle of nowhere on a farm, literally at the end of the line. I'm the end of the line. And I literally work with the largest companies in the world. So now with the internet and how easy it is, you don't have to be a graphic designer. There's apps and things that you can pop stuff up on in platforms that you can get whatever your product. If you're selling banana splits or pizzas or whatever it is you're selling, hot dog holders, whatever it is, you have an opportunity to cast your net over millions.
Now let me just want to clarify some of these, because this is some rumors that the Thrivers want to know here, okay? Your company, your core company, HandmadeCharlotte.com, you've been featured in Martha Stewart Living, Better Homes and Gardens, HGTV, Huffington Post, Business Insider. You've consulted with Pottery Barn, Parenting, Disney Kids. You've worked with these guys. Just let me read a few more here.
I'm a social media all-star via Disney.
Boom.
I've danced with Donald Duck, dude.
Boom.
Yeah.
Now, you've designed a collection for anthropology. You've collaborated with Pottery Barn. And you have a capsule collection coming out in the spring of 2015, summer. Your products are now in, your collections are now in a ton of big box stores. We're talking about Walmart, Michael's stores, Joann Fabrics and stores. I mean, you've done a lot of stuff here. And so when we talk about this today, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I know you're humble, but you know what you're talking about.
I don't seem so humble.
Well, I will say this: you're somebody who puts your head down and works hard, and if you win some awards along the way, I mean but I mean you're a hard worker, and so as we're getting into this today, you really do know what you're talking about, and I encourage you to listen, take some notes, Thrivers. It's going to be awesome. Now, there's 5 areas we're going to try to get through today. One is just the overall strategy. The second is launching a site. The third is creating traffic. The fourth is social media marketing. And the fifth is how to monetize it. So let's go ahead and start here by talking about the strategy. From your perspective, from my perspective, it appears that you are white hot, passionate about do-it-yourself projects.
Right.
That you've essentially developed this loyal following of people and families who love what you do, and now brands are endorsing you in some capacity, and these things are just happening. But can you explain to me what your strategy was when you started, or maybe what your strategy is today? Kind of explain, just from a strategy, kind of a big, broad perspective, what it is that you are doing on a daily basis to generate this value.
Okay, so I was making, and then all of a sudden things started falling into place. And in 2009, my husband, because I was setting up at craft fairs and things, my husband suggested that I open an Etsy shop and blog, because a lot of women in San Francisco are blogging now, and they're making money doing it. And he thought I had a great voice, and that mothers would be interested in it, and in my eye. So started the Etsy shop, and in tandem with the blog. Okay. And I got a note in my inbox on Etsy. Etsy is amazing.
Boom.
So I only had 4 items in my shop at the time. And that's the cool thing about Etsy. You don't have to have a ton of capital to open a store and be in front of millions of people. And you can do made to order. So I opened my shop, and I got a note maybe after 50 sales or something. And they said, "How about we love you?" And I said, "How about you have my heart?" They ordered 1 pair of bloomers, my fortune cookie bloomers. They were little baby bloomers that were stuffed into a Chinese takeout box, and it was the perfect little, and it had a little fortune cookie in it. So it's a cute little handmade, and it became, I've sold probably, I don't know, 25,000 pairs.
What?
Yeah. Yep, a lot in South Korea. They would just eat it up. It was amazing.
South Korea loves your
fortune cookie bloomers.
That's something I've said a lot. I always say the people in South Korea love fortune cookie bloomers. That's just sort of a phrase
exactly.
I say. Okay.
Yeah. So when I got that message from Anthro, and they asked for, this is another thing, always over deliver. And I know, Clay, that's a mantra for you. Over deliver, just do more. Mm-hmm. So they ordered 1, I sent them 25 items. And I knew that, and everybody said, "Oh, they're gonna steal your product, they're gonna rip you off." And I was like, look, if I don't send it, then I will never get the opportunity. If I do send it, and if they don't like it, I won't get the job anyway. But if they do get it, then it will be an incredible catalyst. I knew it would be huge. So Anthropology happened through Etsy, and then I designed a collection for them, a mini collection during the holidays. They did a kids handmade. It was right before that they came out with the laws, with everything had to be tested, and kids apparel and things like that. So I kind of got in right before that all happened. Yeah. And then the blog started happening, and so really, and the funny thing is, once I launched the clothing collection, and I had been making clothing and on Etsy, I literally stopped making clothing. It was and then I decided I'm a concept artist. I come up with these ideas, but then when you have ideas, right, you're I want to make the yarn doodler, and it's I'm going to patent this product and whatever, but then you have to manufacture and all that, and you're wait, do I even like the yarn doodler? I've got 85, I have to put 85 grand into a yarn doodler. Where am I going to get that money at? So when I thought to myself, every single idea that comes through my head, I can give away for free, and that's my product, that's when everything changed.
When you started thinking
so if you have ideas. I mean, I'm an idea generator. And most people have tons of ideas that pop into their head. You've heard it, Clay. Hey, I've got a great idea.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 but I just don't know how to market it. I don't know how to manufacture it. I don't have those pieces to the puzzle, or I don't have financing. But for me, all of my ideas for products I could give away for free through DIY. And that was my product. And that's what I was monetizing.
Now let me ask this, because I want to make sure that we don't lose anybody who maybe isn't familiar with some, because I obviously, in preparation for interviewing with you, have researched your career a lot, and you've obviously been living your career a lot. So I just want to ask you a couple questions just so that we don't jump ahead of anybody who might be going to be able to. Etsy. Let's talk about Etsy for a second, just kind of on a third grade level for somebody who goes, I've heard about Etsy, I know a little bit about it. What do you like about Etsy so much?
Okay. Etsy is a great place for anyone that wants to launch a product. Okay. And that can be an apparel, furniture, even like if you're a junker and you like to go to yard sales and you kind of polish it up, you can and put those things up. It's a lovely community, and everybody says, well, I'm a fine artist or I'm this, and Etsy's kind of crafty. I'm like, the cream rises to the top. Okay. So they will, if you're willing to put in effort to an Etsy shop, Etsy will grow you. And but like anything, just because you are on Etsy or on the internet doesn't mean that you're going to make $1 million. Yeah. You have to work at it. Like, just like you would have a brick and mortar store, you have to work at it and commit daily, these tiny daily commitments every day to the Etsy shop. But it's the overhead or the initial
kind of startup,
the fee or whatever. I mean, literally is like $10. Like, it's like $2 or it's like it's exactly $0.
Well, I want to also ask you this, because I think this is big. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want to clarify your strategy just so I can kind of get it. It seems like you create awesome content, your ideas. You have these great ideas, and you give those ideas away, and therefore people come back for your ideas all the time. And when they come back to your site, do you introduce them to different products and things they can buy? Is that right or no? Am I wrong?
Right, that's exactly what we do.
Okay.
So brands come to us. Yeah. So now that we've established we make recipes and anything we target, we're highly focused on parents of children that have children from 3 to 12 years old. So
you have a niche that's very specific.
Right.
You focus on age 3 to 12.
Right.
So if somebody's on there, I'm sure you have some haters. Darth Hater, he hops on your website.
We don't have haters, man.
No haters?
They love us.
Gosh, I want to get you a hater. What does it say?
But how do you get mad at somebody? Like, I make cupcakes and macaroni necklaces.
Example.
you can't. I'm so happy that I'm in my space, actually, because there are a lot of women that are in the indie publishing scene. Yeah. They do have all these terrible. I'm like, I never get that. But
for somebody who says, well, hey, you should make this great project for 17-year-olds, you would say, well, that's not really my niche.
Right. That's exactly what I'd say. And then I would email another site, or I would get them in contact with somebody else.
Okay, but you definitely know your niche. So it seems to me that the 3 action items that anybody watching this can take from this is, 1, you got to know your niche, right? Figure out who you're targeting to.
Right.
2 is you want to generate a lot of traffic on this site. I mean, however you do it, you want to get a lot of traffic.
The more traffic, the more money, right? So it's
traffic.
Yeah, right. The greater the platform, the greater the influence. Literally, it equals to how much you can monetize.
Okay.
So if I reach millions of people, depending on if that's 5 million, if that's 10 million, but literally the page views and the unique visitors are how much I can charge an advertiser, or how many people they're going to reach.
So you have certain metrics that are kind of agreed upon. I'm making up an example, but let's just say if I said...
So McDonald's, for example.
Okay.
So McDonald's, we just shot a McDonald's commercial. This is the first time that they had ever let a publisher create a commercial for them.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It just launched last week. And this basically happens with all brands. They come to us and we give creative experiences to families. And they said, create an experience, whatever you want to do. And so that was really, really fun. And they'd never let anybody do that before.
Really?
So that was really cool.
Well, Ray Kroc would be proud. This is beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
So you're breaking boundaries here.
Yeah, that was really cool. And so so they came to us and they said, so we think to ourselves, how is nobody knows our audience better than we do. So how is our audience, what is our audience going to respond to, and what are they going to be into, and how are we going to present McDonald's in our own way and make it approachable? I'm a real mom, and I have real kids, and we didn't put a bunch of makeup all over them. We just had this day, and I created a magical day, and that included chocolate dipped ice cream cones and cheeseburgers.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So they does that make sense? So they came to us, and then we took the McDonald's bags and then made them into like recycled crayons, and then we amplified it to our audience.
They came to you though because of the number of views you have.
Right.
And you literally reach millions of families every month.
Right.
So I mean, and again, if you didn't have that number of page views and unique visitors and all those different metrics, all those things wouldn't be possible.
Right.
So anybody watching this, we've got to get people on our site.
So Clay, when I started, and this was my husband and I, Jonathan and I, started HeyMadeCharlotte.com together.
Okay.
And so I went out to build a platform, and I wasn't concerned about making $1. I wanted to build my platform and then start monetizing. So I didn't want to get those little sidebar ads and those little things. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was over 300,000 unique visitors before I even started monetizing.
Okay.
We built our platform before even thinking about working with agencies and advertisers. And so when that happened, because of the analytics tools, we literally don't go after any work. It's very rare. They all come to us because of analytics tools. Companies know who's moving the needle. Like, so from Fiskars to Plaid Enterprises, the largest craft company in the world, to Coates and Clark, HP, Canon, Subaru, Target, Home Depot, IKEA.
They'll come to you because of the analytics tools. They're able to see how many people are on your site and then come to you and say, hey, would you team up with us?
Right, exactly.
That's pretty awesome. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So what you're saying is that now that companies know how many people are on your site, they can come to you, and they'll usually just send you an email saying, hey, we'd like to team up with you.
Yeah, they'll say, hi, this is Clay from My Epic Life and Thrive. And yeah.
People just like that.
Just like that. And so we get, honestly, I'll have to say that right now, I have 563 emails flagged in my inbox right now from advertisers, anyone from an Etsy shop to Crayola.
Now, as you're watching this and you're a Thriver, I know some of you might be, again, feeling a little overwhelmed, like, wow, that is so big. What we're doing, our goal is to try to help you kind of break it down on those basic levels where you can get started. And so we're going to now talk about actually launching the site.
Okay, but I also want to say, like, sure. I know this is overwhelming. I tend to overwhelm everybody, and I get that. Yeah. But I am telling you, work on building your platform. Work on creating great content. Don't worry about monetizing. If you create great content, the money will come in. Like the advertisers in those, the money, I should say, the opportunities will come in. So like this, I honestly, I was a housewife with 5 kids making things on my kitchen table with no plan, just because I like doing that. So, and it pieces together.
Yeah. So, I think that's huge what you said, and I agree with you. And I think that for some of I talked to one lady just last week. She's a Thriver who clicked the Ask the Guru question and wanted to know, how do you balance the need to pay the bills with the need to build a platform and build the number of subscribers up, or the number of viewers, or the number of page views while you're trying to pay the bills? And my answer was, you're going to have to probably work a lot of hours and do a little bit of both at first. It might not be the answer you want to hear, but you probably have to keep that full-time job while working at night and doing what you need to do that extra mile to get there. But once you have enough traffic, then you can monetize it. So I want to ask you this. For somebody who, it might seem like a really small question, but if I'm watching this and I actually want to build a website, is there a certain platform or tool that you'd recommend that I use first to build my website, or a certain, if I'm saying
WordPress. Right.
Okay, so WordPress, we want to start with a WordPress site. And, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, he says, be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. How should somebody balance the need to create excellent, great quality content when they are also working on a limited budget? What advice would you have?
Well, honestly, the way I started, I just used things in my house, and a scrap here and a scrap there, and a good friend of mine, Emily Meyer, who started, co-founder of Tea Collection, which is a company out of San Francisco. One of her best tips that she's ever given me is to reach out to your friends and family. Okay. They want to help you, even if that is, you can start a company in $25, right? Yeah. I mean, like, or $10. Yeah. I mean, it's like you could make origami cranes. I mean, or paper fortune cookies or whatever it is. But I think that when you say, oh, you put that block because I don't have money, or that excuse, it's like, that's an excuse. You can raise capital if you have an awesome idea and you have passion, you really want to do it, and you're willing to, but people want to back that. I
don't know what it is, but I feel like we're closer right now to the folks at home.
I do too.
We are advancing through this incredible training, and so we're just going to keep going. Now, we were talking about raising capital from friends and family and that kind of thing, and I just wanted to hammer home the validity of that, because I meet entrepreneurs all the time, and I'm not exaggerating. I've probably met thousands of entrepreneurs who've reached out to me to help them grow a business or start one, and they say, I can't get capital. But I'm just going to give you some examples, Thrivers. Sam Walton, he was able to get his original money from his father-in-law. So his wife, Helen, her dad, gave her dad, who lived in Claremore, Oklahoma, the birthplace of capitalism, I guess, he lent him some money. Steve Jobs, his dad said, hey, you can office in my garage, and gave him a little bit of capital. Walt Disney, his brother Roy, came to the table and said, I'll help you. So, I mean, if you're watching this and you're thinking, banks have told you no, nobody wants to help you, you do have people around you who want to support you in some small way. And if you don't,
love you very, very much.
You shouldn't feel bad or disqualified from being able to start a business if you can't get a bank loan, right?
Right. I mean, do your legwork before, and honestly, present the idea like you would a bank, right? Yeah. Come to them with a business plan, with your idea, how much money you want to borrow or have them invest in you. And guys, your mother or your father, someone loves you. There is someone on earth that likes you, even likes you. We're going to go love, let's say even likes you, and is willing to get behind you. If they see passion, people, even a neighbor, people are willing to put their money on the underdog, right? Yeah. Because somebody that really wants to go for it. We love those stories.
I just want to encourage everybody watching this, so hammer home what you said. You can do it. You can do this. Don't let this be a stumbling block. But at the same time, I know that we need to balance the need for creating something awesome while dealing with the realities of having a limited budget. So let's just say all my family's come to the table. They've put in $500 each. Now I'm starting my blog.
You are loaded. So $500 a piece.
I've started my WordPress site. Yeah. And my with a total budget, let's say, of $2,000.
Right.
How do you balance the need to make high quality stuff without being on a limited budget? What suggestions would you have for the Thrivers across the planet?
Well, I mean, for what I do specifically and creating content for families, so I have to be aware of most families don't have a craft studio, and they don't have thousands of dollars of craft products or, premium craft goods. So I create content with things that are in my house and that any family would have. And I create techniques and projects and products that everybody in America will have, in the world will have. We might paint a spatula. So we might, make a mobile out of paper, triangles. I mean, so typically create content and if you look at lifestyle brands and any publishers that are in my space, they will often do the same thing. And this is really cool. You can actually, you don't have to be a DIYer or a product creator. You can just be a curator. So you can write an article about 25 ice cream recipes and travel all over the internet and find 25 incredible recipes that other people made and promote those people. Now, that's not original content, but you can use those to write an article. So that's free. That's just your time.
Can I ask this? Can you define what a DIYer is and what a curator is for maybe somebody who doesn't quite understand what those terms mean or doesn't understand how you mean to define them?
Okay, so DIY, that is a good question. I was being interviewed by CNN, and the interviewer did not know a DIY, and she's like, well, I said, it's do it yourself. And she said, no, I'll just say do it yourself. Then I said, no, it's DIY. But yes, it's an acronym for do it yourself. And so a DIY project, we often think of Martha Stewart as the pioneer of the DIY.
Yeah.
But DIYs have been around for a long time, and the kids' craft books and things like that from like the 70s. And
what about a curator?
What's a curator, or like, you know, a writer or whatever. A curator is somebody that puts a collection of images together for the audience. So like often like they would say on Pinterest, or you're curating the content. You know, basically you're an editor. You know.
And the reason why I'm bringing up these terms is we live in a time, and you mentioned it earlier, and I 100% agree. This is the best time in the history of the planet to be an entrepreneur.
Oh,
I mean, it's awesome.
And the money, like the funny, like to get the word out about things, it's like free. I mean, Facebook is free. Pinterest is free.
Now I'm 33, and I know you're 22, so we've been around for a while. But when I started my first business, I used to have to mail the brides a contract. They would then mail the contract back. Email was so ridiculously slow that no one wanted to use it. There wasn't social media. There wasn't. So I don't think people realize what a great opportunity we have right now. And anybody can be a DIYer or a curator, and it just requires your time.
Anybody can be a publisher. I mean, anybody can start a magazine. Anybody can start a company. I mean, Etsy with $10 a month, $10, you can have an Etsy shop and literally reach millions of people.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old, but I've never had the two-time Heisman Award-winning Tim Tebow come present. And a lot of people, you know, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out, because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built a $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He has inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong, because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestselling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when? June 27th and 28th. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping EOFire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home, to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day. And now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time before enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Shot everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow